Right now, there is a drug in your kitchen. It's completely legal. It's in 74% of all packaged foods. Governments subsidize it. Doctors prescribed it to children. And billion-dollar corporations have spent decades engineering it to be physically impossible to resist. And you've already had some today. I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm not talking about cigarettes. I'm talking about sugar. And what I'm about to tell you will permanently change the way you look at every single thing you eat. Go back, way back, 200,000 years ago. Your ancestor is standing in the middle of the African savanna, starving. It hasn't rained in weeks. There's almost no food. Then she finds a berry bush. The berries are small, red, and impossibly sweet. Her brain doesn't just register food, it explodes. A flood of dopamine, the same chemical triggered by cocaine, surges through her neural pathways. Her body screams, "Eat, all of it, now!" Because here's what her brain understood on a primal cellular level. Sweet things meant ripe fruit. Ripe fruit meant calories. Calories meant survival. And survival meant everything. That woman lived. She passed her genes and her sugar-hungry brain down to her children, and their children, and their children. Pause. Down to you. The craving you feel when you walk past a bakery, that's not weakness. That's 200,000 years of evolution screaming into your nervous system. But here's where the story gets terrifying. In 1970, an American food scientist named Howard Moskowitz was hired by a major soda company with one mission: find the perfect amount of sweetness in a drink. He ran experiment after experiment, hundreds of formulas, thousands of test subjects, and what he discovered changed everything. He found what he called the Bliss Point. It was the exact amount of sugar, not too little, not too much, that triggered maximum pleasure in the human brain. The precise molecular formula that made your willpower dissolve. And the food industry didn't just use it, they weaponized it. Beat. Today, there are over 600,000 processed food products in American supermarkets alone, and food scientists, brilliant, highly paid food scientists, spend their entire careers doing one thing: making sure you cannot stop eating. They add sugar to your bread, your pasta sauce, your salad dressing, your crackers, your healthy yogurt, even your baby formula. And it works. Because when sugar hits your tongue, it doesn't just taste sweet, it triggers the same dopamine reward system as morphine. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between sugar and a drug. And just like a drug, the more you take, the more you need. A 2007 study at the University of Bordeaux found that rats, when given the choice between sugar water and cocaine, chose sugar every single time. They chose sugar over cocaine. The Sugar Research Foundation paid 3 Harvard scientists the equivalent of $50,000 in today's money. Their job: publish a study in the most prestigious medical journal in the world. The study concluded officially, scientifically, that fat caused heart disease, not sugar. For the next 5 decades, the entire Western world was terrified of fat. Low-fat foods exploded. Everyone ate less butter, less meat, less oil. But here's what nobody asked. If you take the fat out of food, what do you replace it with to make it taste good? Of course, sugar. The low-fat movement wasn't a health revolution. It was the greatest marketing trick in human history, and we fell for it. All of us, for 50 years. Childhood obesity tripled, type 2 diabetes became a global epidemic, heart disease increased. And those Harvard scientists, they went on to become some of the most influential figures in American nutrition policy. The people who told us what to eat were bought. Here's what actually happens inside your body when you eat sugar. The moment it hits your tongue, a signal fires to your brainstem. Your nucleus accumbens, the brain's reward center, floods with dopamine. You feel a rush of pleasure, warmth, comfort. Then it stops, and your brain, that ancient survival-obsessed machine, registers the absence of that pleasure as pain. You feel irritable, foggy, empty, and the only thing that fixes it is more sugar. This is not a metaphor. This is not a willpower failure. This is the neurological definition of addiction. Studies show that sugar withdrawal produces the same anxiety, the same mood crashes, the same physical symptoms as opioid withdrawal. Your hands don't shake, you don't sweat through the night, but your brain is going through the same chemical storm. And every single time you give in, every biscuit, every soda, every just one piece, the threshold rises. Your brain needs more next time to feel the same rush. You are not weak. You are chemically dependent. But here's the most important thing I can tell you. You can break it. Not through willpower, not through suffering, through understanding. When you know that the craving isn't you, it's a 200,000-year-old survival mechanism being exploited by a trillion-dollar industry, it loses its power. When you understand that the Bliss Point was engineered in a lab specifically to override your rational mind, you can start to fight back. The people who successfully quit sugar don't white-knuckle it through cravings. They rewire their environment. They change what's on the counter, what's in the fridge, what they reach for without thinking. They understand something most people never will. Your choices aren't really your choices until you make them your choices. The first 72 hours are hard. The dopamine receptors scream. The brain throws a tantrum. And then something extraordinary happens. Food starts to taste real again. A strawberry becomes the sweetest thing you've ever eaten. A glass of cold water is suddenly genuinely satisfying. You rediscover the version of you that existed before the industry got its hooks. The food on your plate has been engineered by scientists with PhDs, armed with billion-dollar budgets, backed by governments, and guided by a single directive: make you come back. Not make you healthy, not make you happy, make you come back. So the next time you reach for something sweet, pause for just 1 second. Ask yourself, am I choosing this, or was I chosen? Because the moment you ask that question, 10, you're already free. Share this with someone who needs to hear it.